I was peeking online at Cashflow podcasting, and it seems as though you started this about 6 years ago. Is that correct?
Yep, I started it in early 2013 in the Philippines.
Nice. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And so, 6 years ago, that's a good bit of time. And obviously, it seems like it's a well-oiled machine now, from what I've gathered, and we'll get more into that. But in those give me like the first 12 months, 2 years. How did that look, feel, and what was going through your mind at that point?
Yeah, it was a different animal. So the way it actually started is I was working at a resort in the Philippines with a guy who ran an online group for online entrepreneurs, and he produced a podcast for that group of entrepreneurs, and he was always complaining about how much work it was. And I had done video production in high school, and quite honestly, the entrepreneur part of my brain wasn't thinking, oh, here's an opportunity, here's a problem that needs solved. It was really thinking, I have a student loan payment coming up at the end of the month, and I pretty much said, hey, I can handle the podcast production for you. I've done video production. I'm sure I can figure it out. How do you need it structured so that it actually supports what you want to do? So they were my first client, and that was, at the time, it was called the Tropical MBA podcast, and that was 5 to 6 years ago, and they really enjoyed. He really enjoyed having his time back, his team's time back. So he kind of, talked me up to the community in general, and that's how I landed the first couple of clients, all doing production for existing shows. So people that either themselves produced their own show or they had their team members produce the show, and so I was able to step in and free up that time for them.
Nice.
So at the beginning, it was like a time savings for people who already podcast, and as we went for a little while, and I got a real inside look at how these people were using podcasting as a marketing tool. Really, that's what I get interested in, is how marketing works and systems and processes work. So what then I was able to do is kind of apply what I was learning there to other people that wanted to launch a show. How can they do it really effectively and actually use it to make money, land clients, build an audience, just like Tropical MBA guys were doing.
Right.
And so that evolution took a good 4.5 years. But at the beginning, it was all me doing the audio editing myself. It was a one-man show for probably a year. And then I brought in my first audio editors who helped me do the audio editing and show notes writing, because for each episode we write a little blog post that goes with it. Quite honestly, that was only because Andrew, the very first client, that's what he did. So that's what we started offering as a service, because I just assumed everybody else would want that.
Yeah.
So it was an interesting setup, and so it's night and day difference now between what it once was, because it's taken a long time to figure out exactly what the market needs, exactly who our target clients are, and build out a process that really supports those people, and then have kind of the right team and the right processes in place to run that.